Hey everyone, good morning. We're taking a look at 2 Chronicles chapter number 16 today. And as we take a look at 16, I just want to look back at some of 14 and 15 of what we talked about. And we see King Asa of Judah. We see that he relies on the Lord, and that even when armies of larger multitudes of his army come at him, he still, because he relies on the Lord helps him prevail, and he does. And remember, we were reading how he takes a lot of spoil and stuff like that. If you remember in chapter 15, verse 2, the Lord is with you while you are with him. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. And then we see, then we get into chapter 16, and we see that Israel comes up against him. And what does he do? What does he do? Does he run to the Lord? No, he doesn't. And, his history proves that when you run to the Lord, that when you seek him, he will be found by you. But what does he do? He hires the Syrians to come in and help him. And God has a message for him. God tells him in verse 7, 8, and 9, says, hey, listen, didn't I help you before? But you didn't run to me this time. And verse 9, it says, for the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. In this you have done foolishly. Therefore from now on you shall have wars. And King Asa doesn't learn. It goes on down at the verse 11, 12, 13. You see that he gets sick. And he still doesn't run to the Lord. He runs to the doctors. And Asa is, at the beginning of his ministry here, and it looked like for the first 30-something years or so, he honored the Lord and served the Lord and ran to the Lord, and he started forgetting the Lord at the end. The Apostle Paul told us that he has run his race. He said, I have run my race. I have finished it to the end. And, God wants us to finish just as strong as we start. And he wants us to search him. He wants us to lean on his everlasting arm. He wants us to go to him first. I think too often in this world, we go to God last. God is our last option. Prayer is our last option. And why should it be? It shouldn't be that way. And now I'm not telling you that, as Asa did, Asa went to the doctors, and I'm not telling you not to go to the doctors. Because we ought to. I'm telling you that we ought to go to God in prayer and say, Lord, will you give the doctors wisdom? Lord, would you help us get through this? Lord, the enemy is attacking me. Will you help me resist and flee? And God wants you to go to him first. And we see that with Asa here. And I even wrote in my Bible, I just wrote, wow, next to this verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. God is looking for loyalty. He wants us to rely and trust on him. He wants us to think of him first. He wants to be top priority in your life. Will you make your time with him a top priority? Will you make him a top priority? I love you all. Have a super day.